Hello and welcome back to South King County Real Estate Update. I am back here Friday at 3 p.m. with your news from the week for real estate and mortgage rates. I do these every week, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It Remember to like, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on, whether you're watching me with me live here on Facebook or watching the replay on Instagram or my website or YouTube. Make sure to hit that bell, like, subscribe, and share this with a friend that you think might find this interesting. I really appreciate you sharing my material. I really want to get this information out to as many people as possible. So I encourage you to share with your friends in the area that are interested in real estate. So I'll go ahead and jump into my slides here. All right. So as I said before, this is South King County Real Estate Update for March 26th. What happened this week? So on Monday, I did have my sunflower paint night. I had a fully registered class. I was pretty shocked to see all of the spots taken. But we had a good time, and you can see my little, I took a photograph of my painting up on the right side there. So yeah, it was so much fun. I have another paint night in the works. I'm working on setting the date for that. So next week, tune into this show and you'll hear all about it. And if you get my newsletter, you might hear about it a little bit sooner. And tomorrow, Buyer Bootcamp is tomorrow. I'm so excited for this class. I have a number of creative ideas to share with you to help get your offer accepted in this insane market that we are having. And I have so much information that I'm excited to share in a condensed format. This is a short session. I'm trying to keep it to 30 minutes. It might go a little over if we have questions, but if you are thinking about purchasing a home or considering it at all in the near future, I highly, highly, highly recommend you register for this class. If you register for this class and cannot attend at the time, you'll get a replay sent to you, but you got to register. So I have my email list of who wants their copy. So what happened this week? So this week, I have some clients that were waiting on their funds to come through. They finally landed in the bank and they are excited to get out shopping. We're kind of looking in around the 350,000 price point. They're looking for an investment property to rent out. And it's been a little bit of a challenge. I mean, we're just getting going, but it's been a little bit of a challenge so far to find something nearby that they'll be able to easily commute to manage and do repairs and fix it up at the beginning if it needs it. And so they want something somewhat nearby. They live in Kent right now. So to find something in that price point that doesn't need a ton of work is a little bit challenging. So we went a little bit out. We saw our first home together this week. I was just excited to get into a home with them. When I was almost there, they're like, "We're early. We just arrived, and we don't like the neighborhood." So I'm like, you know what? I'm just around the corner. Let's look at it just for fun. So I'm glad we went in and looked at it. It was a really cute house. The kitchen was really well done, actually. Recently updated. And yeah, it was honestly a pretty perfect house. Just they didn't like the neighborhood. So now, even though they're not going to go for that house specifically, at least I know kind of what they like, what they didn't like about that property. So it was a very valuable tour, despite the fact that it wasn't what they ended up wanting. So, if and I have I've warned them that it may take a little bit for us to find the right property. And once we do find that right property, there's a good chance that a lot of other people think that that's the right property too. So, um, they'll be getting a recording of my class tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to digging in with this couple and finding the right home for them. And I am looking forward to the challenge of finding something in their budget. And um, I will keep you updated on how that goes. I'll jump back into my slides here. So I did bring this up last week, but it did go into effect on Monday. So we are now in phase 3 for COVID restrictions. And for real estate offices, that means that offices are now 50% capacity, and in-person activities at the property are restricted to 10 people in addition to the broker on site, with face covering, social distancing, sanitation all followed. So if you are looking at going and visiting homes, 10 people on site is definitely a reasonable amount to have in a house at a time. At the beginning of COVID, when it was the broker and one other individual going through houses, that was definitely a challenge. But now that we have a few more people allowed in, showings go a lot smoother. So this isn't necessarily real estate related, but I wanted to touch on it because Microsoft just announced that they are going to be allowing workers to return to the office in a limited capacity. And so they have about 57,000 employees in Redmond, Bellevue, and Seattle that'll have the option to return to work starting Monday. 29th is Monday. Yep. And they are the first major employer that has announced it, well, tech employer that's announced the return of office work in our area. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as far as just how often people choose to go into the office, because they're going to be encouraged to work remotely still for a while. But Microsoft was like one of the first employers to shut it down when COVID hit. They were one of the first companies to just say, hey, yeah, everybody can work from home. And Facebook has now announced that, well, they employ about 5,000 people in the Seattle area, and they've announced that they'll open their offices at 10% capacity for those employees that are struggling to work from home. And Amazon's also allowing some of their workers back on a case-by-case basis. And Google and Zillow as well are working on, Google will allow their employees to work remotely until September. And Zillow announced that they are looking at having their staff work from home for indefinitely. So existing U.S. home sales fell in February while prices rose. So this is a national article, but the amount of existing home sales, so resale homes, definitely fell in February, about 6.6% from January. But they were still up 9% from February of last year. A lot of this could be due to the extreme weather that was experienced nationwide. I know we saw that huge dip in showing traffic during that storm. And yeah, so the weather definitely played a bit of a role. But honestly, the biggest thing that's playing a role is the lack of inventory. We're down 29.5% from a year earlier on resale homes that are unsold. So we're just really, really tight on inventory right now. And homes are being snapped up super quick, and prices are continuing to climb. And that's mainly due to the lack of inventory here. We're expecting sales to be strong throughout the rest of the year. More millennials are coming into the housing market, and rates are expected to rise, but stay near historic lows. Mr. Lawrence Yoon of National Association of Realtors gave the hypothesis that it'll be at about 3.5% by December. So that is going up a little bit, but not skyrocketing. So last week I did talk about how U.S. construction had gone down 10.3% in February. And a lot of that was due to the lack of land and the increase in lumber costs. But if we jump to this week, the sale of new homes plunged 18.2% in February. And yeah, so the median price of a new home is up 5.3% from a year ago nationwide. So about $350,000 average nationwide. Of course, we're a little bit higher than that for new construction in our area. But basically, the high lumber costs, rising interest rates, although, like I said, they're near record lows, and the lack of inventory basically are driving prices up and making homeownership a lot harder to achieve for some people. And that brings us to our market stat minute. So this is King County stats. We had 860 new listings in the last 7 days, 1,052 pendings, and 707 sold. So we did tick down on our new listings and listings pending a little bit here, and tick up on the solds. And showing traffic continues to steadily increase. You can see that dip. This was the dip I was talking about in February from the storms. But right now we are up 38.7% on showing traffic from last year. And you can see this is when we are hitting, or sorry, up 38.7% from the average. And then this is last year. Ooh, going way down. This was the beginning of COVID when they shut everything down and we couldn't see homes for a few days. And so that was down 33.5% from the average. So we're going to start to see some really shocking year-over-year numbers, because 1 year ago things were really bad. And that brings us to our mortgage rates. Last week, the Freddie Mac average was 3.09. This week it says jumps to 3.17%, highest since June. And I did talk a little bit last week about how this mortgage rate doesn't necessarily accurately reflect what's going on in the market. And that is the same this week. So mortgage rates are actually lower this week, despite the fact that all of the headlines from this other piece of information say highest since June. And that is very, very misleading. Basically, those the weekly averages that are reported in the New York Times, Seattle Times, and even National Association of Realtors are very, very lagged. They send out a survey on Monday to a bunch of financial organizations, and they have till Wednesday to respond back. And then the report comes out on Thursday. So on Thursday, we could be talking about rates from Monday. And depending on how volatile those rates are, it could be way off. And that has been the case the last couple weeks. And so bottom line, the rates are not up 0.8% this week. They're actually down by roughly 1/8% for the average lender, thus falling back in line with levels seen on March 12th. And this article came out yesterday. This one came out today, just a couple hours ago. And I thought this was a really great visualization of it. So the actual daily average for multiple lenders is in black, and the Freddie Mac weekly survey based is in the green. So you can see they are heading opposite directions here. So we are heading down, not up, like this one says. And this is from the same article from today. And you can see going forward, says be careful about assuming that this is some sort of top for rates. While that's a possibility, it's equally possible that we're just leveling off before rates decide where to go next. History proves that. So all of these boxes are the same height. So we've had a big increase here in 2009, 2013, and then it's kind of like, yeah, so we could go up a little bit more before we go down, but it's probably going to level off a little bit before it decides which direction to go. And on the right side here, this is existing home inventory with January and February highlighted. So you can see we have lower inventory in January and February than most of the rest of the year. But this year, we got nothing. We are way, 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 way down on inventory as a nation. So this is really what is driving prices higher right now. So this is the Mortgage News Daily snapshot, and they're saying we're at 3.36 today. And lastly, I wanted to touch on some good news about the jobless claims. They are at the lowest level since the pandemic started. So you can see here's the beginning of the pandemic when things just shot up. And so first week, second week, we're definitely below where we were at very, very early in the pandemic as far as jobless claims. So this is fantastic news. It's good to see people getting back to work. And in Washington, honestly, we had layoffs decrease by 3.1%, but we are pretty much staying steady on our employment. Didn't move up or down as much as many of the other states in the nation did. So I guess it's better to stay steady than have more people lose their jobs. So could be worse. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation about real estate or the market, what's happening in your specific area. Again, please like, subscribe, and share this information, share this video with people that you may think may find value in it. I will be back here again at 3 p.m. next Friday. So I hope to see you then. Make sure to set those alarms so you get alerted when I go live. Thank you so much for joining me for South King County Real Estate Update. I will see you next week, and have a good one. Have a great week.